The Twisted Lens, Episode 2, The Olympic Boycott. The Beijing Olympics are proceeding without the diplomatic support of many of the Western countries. The US was the first to declare the boycott, and others like the UK, Canada, Australia, etc. were left with little choice but to follow. The formal reason given was because of the continuing human rights abuses of the Uyghurs in particular, the crackdown on Hong Kong, and various other Western grievances. The decision to not send diplomatic representatives to Beijing is a serious slight to the pride of the Chinese officials, and to many in North America, the boycott seems like a reasonable snub. It's also easy to feel good about the moral superiority of our Western culture while taking a stand for human rights. However, if we twist the lens, we might just see another perspective. In China, the government responded by saying that they couldn't care less if some low-ranking American government official didn't show up for a free hotel room and an expensive dinner. I don't think Biden was ever scheduled to go. The Olympics is about the athletes, they said, so stay home and save us some money. Couldn't care less. Further, to assume the moral superiority of the West is a fragile position at best. Even our mirror, mirror on the wall mentality that we have come to believe withers in the face of residential schools, crushing taxes on immigrants just trying to buy a home and assimilate into our culture, and our less than perfect record with respect to the treatment of our First Nation peoples in Canada, the US, and Australia. We have built a glass house and should be mindful of the stones. And yet it does feel right that we do something to stand up for those who have no voice and are being persecuted or worse for their beliefs. It's comfortable to feel like the Olympics and its worldwide stage is the perfect venue to apply some moral salve to our own shortcomings and justifications. And I do understand that position, and yet I don't agree. Through my lens, the boycott seems childish and pointless. Aside from making the Chinese government mad, no serious problem was ever resolved by picking up your ball and going home. No dispute with a spouse, no difficult issue at work, or even an unruly teenager was ever settled by embarrassing the other party and refusing to sit down face to face in discussions. Our diplomats should be in China and leading by example. If we truly believe Western culture is better in some way, then go there and show them. Be friendly, be engaging, be diplomatic, be empathetic. Being on the ground allows us to be firmer in our resolve for human rights and allows us to talk to the people and pledge our support where appropriate. Even if today we are denied access to some parts of China, we can keep on asking, even if the answer is no 100 times. I am told there's no last word in true diplomacy. And if all that's still not enough, then let's take a stand and not allow countries with atrocious human rights records to ever host the Olympics. And if they do, we will agree not to send our athletes. That's a boycott with some teeth. The Olympics are not supposed to be political. All participating countries have agreed that once every 2 years, we set aside our differences for a few weeks and come together in the name of sport with the hope of making the world a better place. Discretion, and I will add humility, are the better parts of valor, and this simpering boycott does nothing to show us in our best light.